All right, guys. So, in light of the um, tier list videos, especially since this one will be coming out after the DC one, I wanted to take a look at something here. I asked myself if I were to make the Justice League myself, out of the people who have already played these characters, who would I pick? And um, the answers might surprise you. So I wanted to basically stick to some of the core characters of the Justice League. I wanted to leave it at that and just, just the core people that have played it already. I did just realize I left out Adam, but that's okay. I'm not really worried about that. Let's just get started here. So, obviously, let's get all of the obvious answers out of the way. Starting with Aquaman, obviously, we've already had Jason Momoa play the character. He does a great job, in my opinion. He does amazingly, honestly. I enjoy his Aquaman very much. I think he is a great choice. So Aquaman makes it into my roster for the Justice League, live action Justice League. Next up, we have Shazam. Now, Shazam, obviously, nobody else has really played him, but coming from a comic book reader, as a Shazam comic book reader, as a fan of Shazam, the guy who played Shazam in the movies actually did very well. A lot of people hate the fact that he's so lighthearted, that the movie is so light and jokey, and that he acts immature. He's still a 12-year-old kid. And I enjoy that they stick to that. He acts like a 12-year-old kid that becomes a superhero. Now, a lot of DC fans love realism. This is realistic. This is not only realistic, but it's still comic book accurate, but it's still realistic. So I don't know what the problem is with you guys, but I mean, hey, Shazam makes it into the team. So let's see. Now, next is Green Lantern. Now, I know a lot of people are probably thinking that we should have Hal Jordan. I personally disagree. I think that we should have another person of color introduced into the DC universe because a lot of DC characters, you don't see a lot of people of color. Now, I know we've had Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern, and that was awful. It can be much better than this with John Dickel. Now, if it were my choice, we would transition him into the universe to where he would become the Green Lantern of the films. It's not really that hard for them to do. If Marvel can do it, DC can do it. And I understand that people don't like that idea of DC copying Marvel of certain things, but it would work if you use the TV shows to build up a bigger universe. It could work. You guys just won't let it work. So Diggle makes it onto the roster. Now I understand that it's not John Stewart exactly, but it's still a good choice, and he deserves this role. He deserves this place. So next up we have Martian Manhunter. Now, now believe it or not, come to my surprise, I didn't know about these two. I think I've heard of this one. I don't remember this at all, and I have no idea where this is from. It says 2006. I'd have to look back to see where that's from. It's probably a TV series, though. So my main choices would be these two at the bottom. Now, we haven't really gotten a lot from him as Martian Manhunter. Me personally, I need more to make this decision. I've seen him a lot, and I enjoy and love him as Martian Manhunter. So he is the one that makes it onto the team until I've seen more of the other guy. Next up is Green Arrow. Now, believe it or not, oh, that's a small picture. That was smaller than I thought it was. Okay, well, let me just zoom in for you guys. We've had multiple people play Green Arrow. This is from Smallville, and obviously we have Stephen Amell. Now, I don't know if this guy is still alive. I know he was young when he played the character. He could very well probably still play an older, you know, an older Green Arrow. I mean, the guy from Smallville isn't doesn't look that old. He looks about the same age as Henry, actually. So I mean, I wouldn't see why he couldn't. However, we don't really see him do a lot compared to Steven. So, Steven, who is very good as Green Arrow. Maybe he doesn't always joke around like the Green Arrow does, but he's very good for Green Arrow. Steven makes it on the roster for me. Next up, we have the obvious Wonder Woman. Now, we've only had two people really play the character, and both of these beautiful women are amazing as their characters. But we gotta go with Gal. Mostly because of age. She could play the character for a longer period of time. And she's good at the character. She has the accent that obviously a goddess would have. So Gal makes my roster. Now, the way that I'm doing this, I wanted to start off simple and then gradually get up to more complicated. So now we're at the Flash. Now, I am thinking Barry Allen. The way I'm thinking about this, I am thinking Barry Allen and not Wally West. So we've had three people play the Flash. All three of these, if I'm not mistaken, played Barry. Now, I just found out, like literally an hour before recording this. It is the 19th of this month. This month it's June, right? I am so tired. June 19th at like 11:45 p.m. 2022. An hour ago, I just found out that he passed away. Did not know that. Somebody said that he was dead. I did not know that. Unless they only meant in the show, which is possible. I did see him die in the show, I believe. This guy has become very problematic. He's also, I didn't like his Flash to begin with. When I first saw him as the Flash, he acted way too much like Wally, but they kept calling him Barry, and I was very confused. So neither of them are a contender anyway. He would be too old if he's still alive, and he's too problematic and just is not a good Barry Allen. Grant is the perfect Barry Allen for me, in my opinion. Grant makes it to the roster. Next, we have one that is actually not looked at very often. Black Canary is a Justice League member. Black Canary and Green Arrow are Justice League members. It's weird to not have them on the team. So these are the characters. This is where it gets a bit more complicated. These are the people who have played Black Canary so far. Now, I am familiar with every single one of these, except for her. I have never seen her before. I like that she's wearing that classic mask. That's actually really cool. This is from Birds of Prey, I believe. Isn't that the lady from Full House? Isn't that Aunt Becky? That's what it looks like. I don't know. I'm not completely familiar with her. Her mask looks like it's stitched on. That's weird. It's probably just makeup. I am very familiar, extremely familiar with all four of these, though. Now, we haven't seen enough of her really to really decide. At least I, for my personal opinion, I haven't seen enough of her to really choose her. It would be between these three because we've seen plenty of Sarah, we've seen plenty of Laurel, and we see plenty of Dinah. So it would be between these three. Now, of these three, Dinah is the only one where the ability actually, like the sonic scream, actually comes from her. It's not her using gadgets, it's not her using a collar. This is her actually screaming. And she's still a skilled fighter. So she makes it to my roster. Now for the part that people are not going to like. Batman. Now, listen, guys. We've had, oh, that's a small picture too, didn't know that. We've had a lot of people play Batman. We've had a lot of people play this character. Obviously, Kevin Conroy is great. Michael Keaton is great. Christian Bale, I'm not a fan of. You'll see it if you watched my video on the roster for the not the roster. I'm sorry, the tier list. I don't like Bale, but but if it had to come down to it, obviously, these would be the four that people would say would be their top tier for Batman. Now, Keaton is too old to play an actual Batman. I'm sorry, guys. I understand that you guys love Batman, his Batman. He can't play a Batman. Bale's Batman is not a good fighter. So for me, it's between these two. Now, I'm going to be real with you guys. It's a coin toss. It's a straight up coin toss for me for Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson's Batman. I can honestly and I can honestly say after watching these two people play Batman that if you gave me either of them, I would I would 100%. I'm checking something down here. Give me a second. I would 100% say I'm fine with either. If you gave me Ben, I'd be great. If you gave me Rob, I'd be great. To give me a seasoned Batman who is extremely good at his fighting and has no flaws in what he does, the gliding and everything. Or you could give me a Batman that just started out that needs to grow into this Batman. Either one. You could give me either one. Now, for the rosters particularly, if you forced me to choose right now, I am a sucker for character development. When it comes to my favorite character in Dragon Ball, it's Vegeta because of his character development. When it came to the MCU, Iron Man became even more of a favorite than he already was because of his character development. So seeing Robert Pattinson's Batman develop would be what I would choose over seeing an already developed Batman. It would just be more interesting to watch him have to go from being by himself to work with an entire team and have to learn how to trust people. And now for the part that people are probably going to hate me for most, Superman. Now, growing up, I have never really been a fan of Superman, but here recently I've started, and by recently I mean like in the past 10 years, I've started taking I've started taking some like Superman comics, looking into it and looking at him, watching old animated movies, watching the animated series, stuff like that. I've gotten kind of a feel of if I were to cast somebody as Superman, I gotten kind of a feel of what I would like as Superman, like what Superman, what the typical Superman should be. Now, we've had quite a few people play Superman, quite a few. Um, Obviously, we've got him, and we've got these four as the main ones that have played it, the role. Um, there are four, these two and these two. I have no idea who they are. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I have no idea who they are. I know him, and I know everybody on the bottom row. I know Dean Cook. I know Dean Cook. That might be wrong. I know all four of them. I can't think of his real. I can't think of his name. I think it's Dean or Dane, something like that. Regardless, these four, I believe, would be the main ones to choose from, but it would be down to these two because one, they're the two current ones. Yes, he has come back to play Superman recently, but he has not played it in any like consistently in the show. As well as him, he could obviously come back and play this. I would love to see Tyler, that's not his name. I would love to see him come back. I'm thinking of this Superman because he is my choice. Now let me explain why. If this Superman gives me that I'm a father mindset, like he actually like is very careful with what he does when it comes to fighting. He he's very he's feels like Superman when I'm watching him as Superman. He feels reckless. Like Henry feels just like reckless destruction. Just it was all just destruction. Now I will say that at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, I liked his Superman. I liked when he got into the black suit and he started actually acting more like Superman. I liked his Superman at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Anything before that, I did not enjoy. But I consistently have loved, ever since his introduction in Supergirl, I have consistently loved Tyler as Superman. Tyler makes it onto my roster. I do not like how he looks in this suit. He looks, oh man, no, he's still my choice. He, this was a younger, I remember this episode. Okay, yeah. This is my Justice League, guys. This is who I would look into. Like, if it were my choice, these would be the people to play as the Justice League. So, yeah, that's it. Gonna go ahead and end the video here. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.